Welcome back, Automotive Inc. family. Today we are going to talk about fuel economy in the 24 Super Duty Tremor Godzilla. That's going to be with the 430 rear end, all those beefy, rugged tires. I know they're not the most aggressive tires, the higher air dams and everything, but we're going to talk about real world fuel economy. I finally got enough miles on this thing. I got enough towing miles on it to put it in perspective. Now, I will tell you this much. In the past, I've typically ran ethanol-free gas or clear gas. That means there is zero ethanol and it has a higher octane rating of 88 or higher. We can get that in a lot of states. I was able to find Nebraska, and I'm able to find that a lot here in Colorado. Now, on the flip side of that, if I can't find it, I typically run premium, so there is a small amount of ethanol in it. Now, when I was out in Nebraska towing a few weekends ago with the 18,000 pound trailer and the 14.5 trailer, I decided to try E10, E15 fuel. So the 24 Godzilla, and maybe years before, I don't remember it, on my 22, you can run E15, up to E15 fuel. Now, that fuel out there, I ran 2 tanks of it, and my fuel economy actually got a little bit better than what I anticipated with that kind of fuel. And to put it in perspective, it wasn't that much lower than typically what I get with premium or anything like that. But take a look at these prices. So, as you can see, it's about 70 cents cheaper than premium. And obviously we can't run E85 in the Godzilla. And to put it in perspective, diesel right now at the same exact store is $3.20 a gallon. So we're about 30 cents cheaper a gallon, roughly. And if you look up here, it took almost 29 gallons to fill the truck today because it was almost dead empty. So just between the two savings, it's about 70 cents-ish. So you're talking in excess of $14 difference to fill the truck. We climb on up in Loki and we talk about the economy fuel average calculator that they put in the trucks. And I've had some people say, hey, I hand checked it and I'm off by 2 miles a gallon. Now, I will put the caveat to this. Those calculators only calculate driving fuel economy. So if you remote start it to get it cool in the truck, or you idle it a lot, that computation is not going to be exactly correct. So yes, you're going to be a little bit off. Now, on driving economy, I found that the average is typically less than 0.5, and that's across the board. It's less than a half mile off on Rams, Fords, and Chevys if you're calculating true driving mileage. Now, I have hand calculated every fill up against the calculator, and I would say I don't remote start it a lot right now, and I didn't remote start it a lot during the winter because I didn't drive it a ton because it was at the shop. So it's actually fairly accurate in regards to being to my about 0.3 on my hand calculation per tank. So give or take a little bit on the extra squeeze in the tank and whatnot. Now, when we spin around here, guys, this is over the last 1,300 miles. I averaged about 10.8. Now, that is equating the trailer tow mileage. I towed 2 different trailers, right about 700 miles worth over that week. And we got So again, make sure you subscribe, guys, so that way you can see we'll be going up the IG, or the Eisenhower Tunnel, which is allegedly the toughest tow challenge. That's what the other channel does, the Big Wig channel. And we'll put this to the test versus what we experienced in the L8T Chevy. And I've ran plenty of Hemis up that hill, so we can compare it to that. So again, 1,300 miles, 10.8, that averages between the trailer tow and everything in over 31 hours of running. Now, since I bought the truck, I got what you can see down there, 3069, so over 3062 miles. 11.8 is my average, 83 hours of run time. And so I will say, again, after filling it up, we're still getting that nice average there that we have about 436 till we're empty. So now I always reset it after on my trip 1, but I always leave trip 2 from the date I buy the truck, whether it has 0 miles on it or 20,000, because I want to be able to compare over the long term without resetting it what kind of fuel economy I am actually getting in these trucks. Now, I will tell you this much when it comes to the Tremor with the 430, the more aggressive tires, the higher air dams for ground clearance and approach angles and all that jazz. This is not the truck you're going to want to commute in. It does not get excellent fuel economy for a big truck. Now, again, in this comment section, I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, you don't buy a big truck for fuel economy. That is correct. You buy a big truck to tow. Now, putting that in perspective, just like with the power boost videos I was doing, guys, I will tell you that if you can get better fuel economy, that is a plus. Now, a lot of people will say, well, my diesel gets, you know, 25 miles a gallon pulling up a hill in a 90-mile-an-hour headwind, and yeah, well, again, I don't quite believe that. I haven't seen any data of that to prove that. Experience, especially my experience with driving diesel trucks, granted, they do a little bit better. You're going to have a lot more grunt going up the hills. If you want to try and go up the hill at 90, it'll do it better than a gas truck for sure. But with that in reason, I always drive within the realm of the speed limit. Once in a while, I got to pass somebody, so I got to go about 5 over, whatnot. I always stay within that, and I don't typically drive it in any other mode other than eco. So at the end of the day, I would say that between my averages, I typically, non-towing, get about 14.5 miles to the gallon in this truck, and that is typically 55 and under. You know, my commute is mixed driving, so some stoplights, 55, 45, 35, some stop and go. This is not general stop and go traffic, so obviously take that into play. And again, people will say, well, I still get less. Well, yes, driving habits then are the other caveat to no matter what vehicle you get. So I would say that if you really want to get a Godzilla and you really want to get the 430, then you don't get the Tremor package, because the Tremor package shortens the air dam, which helps with aerodynamics, believe it or not. It's going to have a little bit less aggressive tire, which will help with rolling resistance. And so really you can still get a 430 in an F350 and still get an FX4, still get some semi-AT tires and whatnot, and enjoy probably a little bit better fuel economy. But if you're going to be a romper on it, you're probably not going to see really great fuel economy in any truck, whether it's a diesel and or a gas. Now, is this comparable to the L8T? The L8T did, I think, if I remember right, I'll put the links in the video, towing, I think it was up and around the 10.5. Now, towing the 18K trailer, I actually got 8.2. And then with the lighter trailer going into a wind, it's a little bit more boxier, I guess. I think I got 7.8 or 7.2. So again, kind of within reason. And it kind of reminisce of my old V10 that I had several V10s, and but those got that just without towing. So with that in mind, guys, the real world fuel economy of a Tremor 7.3 Godzilla is probably going to be in that ballpark. Now, some guys might get better, some guys might get worse, and you know, that is what it is. I can tell you this much though, the diesels that I've driven, towing and everything like that, typically still average only about 12, you know, so you're talking about 3-4 miles to the gallon better sometimes. And again, my old Godzilla did way better with the 355, so I think the great split would be the 373. I really don't think you need to go to a 430, but if you just love the Tremor, that's what you're going to get. If you get a diesel Tremor, you're going to get a 355. And so all of those nuances are going to play into your fuel economy. Now, I am interested to see, and I will do a video later after running 2 or 3 tanks of the E15 fuel, because at 70 cents a gallon of change, if it's only 1 mile a gallon better, well, then that puts this in a lot better realm versus a diesel, when people are saying, oh, it's way more expensive to run a gas than a diesel. Long run, I don't think so, especially when you equate the engine cost, the DEF, the more expensive diesel, at least in my area, the extra maintenance, the extra oil on the oil changes, all of those fuel filters and stuff that you really need to keep up with, and then the future maintenance that's going to be required on those trucks. So at the end of the day, hopefully that gave you guys some insight. Again, the L8T did pretty good with the 373 fuel economy wise, and again, I attribute that to less aggressive tires, my driving habits, maybe the aerodynamics of the truck. That the Kong didn't really have a long air dam in front of it either. So at the end of the day, I'm okay with the fuel economy on this truck. Again, it's not my everyday commuter. I got a Subaru for that, so I can get 36 miles a gallon. But at the end of the day, I'm not disappointed. And I got a lot of other great videos coming up, guys, where we can talk more about the truck itself. I'll put in the tow video link so you guys can kind of see how that was. But anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give me a like at the end of the video, notification bell so you know when I'm posting new content. and we'll catch you on the next one.